You may have heard the term consumer culture before, but what does it mean and why is it important in the world today? Simply put, consumer culture is the way our society is built around buying and using things and services. It's not just about shopping, it's a way of life that affects our decisions, values, and actions. In this video, we'll talk about the theory and definition of consumer culture, breaking it down into words that are easy to understand so you can understand how it affects our daily lives. What is consumer culture? Consumer culture is a social and business trend that has become more and more important over the past 100 years. At its heart, it's about how we use the goods and services we have access to. In a consumer society, buying things is more than just a necessity. It's also a way to show who you are and have fun. Think about it this way. You don't buy a smartphone just because you need to make calls and send texts. You buy it because it shows who you are, how you dress, and how successful you are. You pick brands and products that match your goals and ideals. Consumer culture turns these daily decisions into a complex web of social and psychological factors that drive our choices. Key elements of consumer culture. Materialism is the idea that material things are very important. It seems to say that having more makes you happy and more successful. This makes them want to buy more things all the time, often at the price of other things. Advertising and marketing. Advertising and marketing are important parts of consumer culture because they build wants and needs. From signs to social media, ads are everywhere. They tell us what to buy and how it will make our lives better. Branding and identity. Brands play a big part in the culture of consumers. People often use brands to show who they are and where they stand in society. Wearing certain types of clothes or driving a certain car can show who you are or how you want to be seen. Conspicuous consumption. It is when people buy things not because they need them, but because they want to show them off to other people. Think about expensive things like luxury cars, fashionable clothes, or jewelry. They are often seen as signs of wealth or success. Consumerism. Consumerism is the idea that the more we buy, the better our lives will be. Consumer culture and consumerism go hand in hand. This can cause people to use too much and hurt the earth. Consumer culture in action. Let's look at some examples from real life to learn more about consumer culture. Black Friday, an annual shopping event where people camp out and rush into stores to get the best deals, is a great example of how consumer culture works. It's not just about getting deals, it's also about the excitement of buying and having something. Social media influencers. Many social media influencers promote products and lifestyles, making their followers feel like they need to buy those goods to be as happy or successful as they seem. Fast fashion. Brands like Zara and H&M have built empires on the idea that you can get the latest fashion styles for very low prices. This makes people buy clothes more often and think of them as throwaway. It is very important to understand consumer culture because it shapes our society, our beliefs, and even our health. Why does it matter? Effects on the environment. Resource depletion and climate change are two natural problems that are made worse by overconsumption. To protect the earth, we need to be aware of how we use things. Debt and financial stress. People often spend more than they can afford because of consumer culture. This can lead to debt and financial stress. It's important to make smart financial decisions that match your real wants and values. Mental health. Constantly trying to get things can make you feel stressed, anxious, and unhappy. Most of the time, meaningful events and relationships, not things, bring true happiness. Let's now look at this question. Which of the following is not considered a key element of consumer culture, as described in the video? A. Materialism. B. Advertising and marketing. C. Branding and identity. D. Thrift and sustainability. Write your answers below. What are the 4 types of CCT? You are now going to look at 4 types of academic study in CCT and how they help us understand customers. The field is always changing, but a short explanation of each theme will give you an idea of what experts are interested in and what their work means in the real world. Consumer identity projects. This theme looks at how the things people buy and use tell the stories of their lives. For example, marketing and promotion for things like engagement rings are closely tied to the cultural rituals of getting together and settling down. People who are retired are sold cruises as a way to mark a new stage in their lives. On the other end of the age spectrum, items like My First Sony introduce children to the world of brands. Marketplace cultures. This branch of study shows how consumers co-produce the markets in which they participate. Club culture is a good example of this because it has fashion, music, and location branding trends that are driven by both the entrepreneurs who run clubs and the people who go to them. Other good examples of marketplace cultures include sports events and live classical music. Socio-historical patterning of consumption. This looks at how customers and consumption have been and are shown in news stories, movies, books, and other forms of media. In the late 1800s, department stores became a new public, private place for women. Modern chick lit, like Sophie Kinsella's 2000 novel Confessions of a Shopaholic, which was later made into a successful movie and TV show, is another good example. These pictures change how we think about and approach shopping for ourselves. Consumers' interpretative strategies. This stream looks at how customers understand, internalize, and sometimes try to get around brands and marketing messages. This can be done out of real interest in a brand, as with unboxing videos on YouTube made by consumers, or consumers can take a more critical approach to how they remix advertising by making fake ads as a way to get back at big business. Consumer culture can put pressure on people to conform to certain ideas and ways of life, which could stifle innovation and variety. Consumer culture is all around us in the modern world. It affects how we live, think, and interact with each other. It is neither good nor bad in and of itself, but it is important to understand how it works and how it affects our lives. We can get through this consumer-driven world in a way that fits with our values and makes for a more sustainable and fulfilling future if we are aware consumers and make thoughtful choices. Don't forget that you can choose what you buy and how it affects your life.